So if you've ever wanted to know how to make a killer creme brulee, you go to a restaurant and then all of a sudden here comes this torch and this like amazing magical dessert. Well, Chef Jeremy Manley is here on Big Blend Radio today to teach us how to do it. He is known as San Diego's Sustainable Chef and is also the executive chef and owner of Jeremy's on the Hill, California-style bistro, where guests enjoy fresh farm-to-table cuisine, all prepared from local ingredients, as local as they can get. And it's a popular place. It's in Southern California, up in the mountains, in a place called Wainola, which is the gateway to Julian, San Diego's most popular mountain destination. Go to his website, jeremysonthehill.com. He's got killer recipes on there, too. He's also on Facebook and Twitter. Chef Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, always good to have you on Big Blend Radio, and we love featuring your recipes on Big Blend Radio and TV magazine and the website blendradioandtv.com. And the newest one is going to be your Chambord creme brulee. So it's not just any creme brulee; it's Chambord. But let's actually touch on what is creme brulee. This is like a fancy French thing, right?
It has this flair to it. It has this look to it, and this like mysterious elegance to it. Not just the name, but the presentation, the caramelized sugar on top. And as you take your spoon and you puncture the sugar, and you reach down below the sugar, and you dip into this custard deliciousness of cream and egg yolk and Chambord flavored liqueur. And you add all this on the spoon and take a bite, and it's just there's this synergy that happens of creamy, velvety custard with the crunch of the caramelized sugar. That it's the elegant flair. It's magic. It's so compact with flavor that it just bursts on your tongue.
So now, when you say things like that, would this be a good, dessert for Valentine's Day or any kind of romantic date night? Like if a man did this for his lady or the lady did it for her date, I mean, would that be, something that would be like a good shoe-in romantically?
It is. It's there is a special love charm about sharing a creme brulee with your lover. It's one of those dishes that we overindulge in when we have it, but it's not something we have on a weekly or a monthly basis. When you come out to the restaurant, you'll find it on our menu. The Chambord one is my favorite creme brulee. We have it almost year round, and it's one of those dishes that most people don't prepare at home because they don't have the torch. They don't want to take the time to stir and infuse it with a liqueur, and then temper your eggs with your hot liquid, and place this hot liquid in a ramekin with a water bath, and babysit it in the oven because it's a low temperature cooking dish that takes about 45 minutes. But if you overcook the custard, the eggs will coagulate. So it's much better if you're a home cook or a beginner cook to go out to a restaurant and let them, wine and dine you and treat yourself to this special dish.
But this is something you can master, right? I mean, isn't this something you could master and learn? I mean, if you learned the technique of a creme brulee, would it lead you to other recipes or to do different things with it? So that, like, how people have, Aunt Mary knows how to make the best pecan pie. This could be your thing? Like, you could own it.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's great about the custard, because creme brulee is a custard with the caramelized sugar on top, if you added more egg yolks and less cream, you could, when you temper in that hot liquid into your egg yolks, you can use that as a plate sauce. And you basically have like almost like the French word would be crème anglaise. So it's like it's an egg custard that's for plate sauces, or for if you have a chocolate cake, instead of having some milk, you drizzle a little bit of this crème anglaise over the top of your cake, and it's kind of fulfilled that like creamy richness that balances out that chocolate cake. It's the same ingredients that are in ice cream, but just different ratios. It's really fun because if all of our listeners are going to attempt to make this at home, Experiment with it after you've made it a few times. Where, like I said, add more egg yolks, add less cream. Take out the liqueur and add something different. Like you could take mint leaves and steep them in the heavy cream, and now you have a mint-flavored creme brulee or a mint-flavored creme anglaise. You could take your favorite tea bag. It could be a lemon verbena, and you steep that just like you would tea, but instead of water, it's going to be the cream base, and then you can make a creme brulee or a custard out of that. So understanding that your cream, your sugar, and your eggs are the base, and you could add a liqueur to it. You could add a different kind of sugar to it to change the color. You know, if you wanted a really clean color, you can use vanilla extract instead of scraping a vanilla bean, where the vanilla bean will actually leave the little pod, the seeds inside the pod throughout the dish. And that's the look that I like. It adds a nice little unique touch, and every bite of creme brulee you have this like hint of vanilla that's just bursting on your tongue and just sitting there. And that's, when you're thinking of dessert wines, the vanilla that's naturally present within the bouquet of the wine itself, it just kind of heightens it and takes it in a different dimension. Well, allows for more roll around in your mouth and more flavor build up and contrasting.
So we've got fire and we've got roll arounds in the mouth. Okay, so everybody, like, this is the thing. You've got like that texture. I think that's what it is. That what makes it so sensual is that you've got this creamy goodness, and then all of a sudden you've got that little crispy part of the sugar on the top. And so creme brulee. Like, I'm not a custard fan, and I remember having creme brulee in your restaurant, the Chambord creme brulee, and going, okay, I like this. So it is about how that custard technique comes out, because if it's not good, and my part comes from being in boarding school and custard in boarding school, and I don't want to talk about that because that's not good. It's not good. It just wasn't good, man. It's like it was the same place where they made pizza and the base was ketchup. No joke, okay? So you could already understand where this came from. But when I was there at the restaurant and had this, I was like, dude, I got to dig this. And it's about having the temperature right. But I want to talk about having a torch, because like, now that's some fun stuff. But let's go into actually this custard. So you're making this custard, looking at the recipe. Everyone, you can go to jeremysonthehill.com. It's there. We'll also have it featured up on blendradioandtv.com in the January-February issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. But you talk about heavy cream, or half and half, so 3 cups of that. You have egg yolks. So you have 3 whole eggs and then 2 egg yolks. So that's the thing where you're talking about having that difference. And you've got vanilla, and so you're basically making a custard from the cream. Oh, and the Chambord, we can't leave that out. And sugar, you have sugar in there too, as well as what you're going to put on top later, the granulated sugar. And so you're making this, but you said again, even making this custard in your recipe, it's like you're slowly mixing this together over a very low flame to make the custard. It's low.
Yeah, you're leaving the eggs out. What we're going to do is just to go over the ingredients again. We have the cream, the sugar, the vanilla bean or vanilla extract, and the Chambord. So you're going to place that in your pot over a medium-high heat, stirring occasionally with the whisk. As soon as the cream starts to steam, you want to start focusing on it, because if you let it go too much longer, what will happen is the milk solids and the cream itself will overflow and explode all over your stove, and it's a big mess. Anytime you get sugar on something hot, it's going to burn, and you actually got to scrub it off. So paying attention, you can turn your flame down a little bit if you have a couple other things to do while you're preparing your creme brulees. But again, when it starts perfuming the air, that's how you know it's close. And then when you start seeing it steam, it's really close. And from there, that's where you want to whisk it a couple more times and then turn it off. In another like stainless steel bowl, that's where you're going to crack your egg yolks and whole eggs. Now, this recipe calls for whole eggs and egg yolks because the alcohol is, if you just use the egg yolks, it won't suspend. It'll get liquidy. It won't firm up and get custard-like. So the egg whites are protein, so the protein actually helps trap the alcohol and give it some structure. Most creme brulee recipes don't call for egg whites. So if you were going to use a different kind of liqueur like Frangelico or Grand Marnier, you would still leave the whites in there. And if you were going to make like a green tea creme brulee, you would take the whites out and just add an extra yolk to it.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that about egg whites and that. Okay, so that's cool. So if you're boozing it up, you need the egg whites. That's basically what you're doing. And because this is getting cooked because it's slow, does the alcohol stay in there? Because I know we've talked about cooking with wine before and things like that, but the alcohol really does kind of burn off. And if you're baking with wiggy, I should say, wine or wiggy or cocktails, if you're actually putting it in your food, a lot of times that alcohol evaporates out. With this, does it just really basically leave you the flavor and take the alcohol away, or no?
You get the flavor and you get the alcohol. If you were alcohol sensitive or you weren't looking for that in your dessert, what you can do is before you add before you add the Chambord to your cream, you can actually reduce it in a pan on the stove so it'll cook out the alcohol. And by doing that, put a little flame on there. And when your alcohol burns, whether it's tequila, Chambord, or wine, that's the alcohol that's cooking off. So once that flame is put out, cook it down just a little bit more in case there's other trace elements of liqueur or liquor or alcohol in there, and then go ahead and add that to your pot with heavy cream. It's not necessary. However, I love alcohol, so I want to leave a little bit of that flavor in there, not just the flavor of the
We just need that
black
little
raspberry.
wiggy. Yeah, you need that little wiggy in there. But now this is neat. So now you need a pitcher with a spout. You said that this is a big part of it, and so like you're gonna put your custard basically into these ramekins, but the ramekins are floating on water. Have I got this?
Well, yeah. So the ramekins weigh more than the water does, but you're creating a water bath, and by doing that, when you place your creme brulee in the oven, you're preventing the eggs from coagulating, which makes scrambled eggs. So your ramekins are going to go inside of a pan. You can put a little water in them at first. You don't want to fill it above halfway. About 1/3 to halfway is ideal. Then you place with your pitcher that has the pour spout on it so you don't lose anything. You evenly divide that liquid between the ramekins. Now, this is where it gets tricky. You want to leave about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch from the top of the ramekin because you're going to have to pick up that tray and place it in the oven at 300 degrees. Halfway through cooking, about 18 to 20 minutes, you're going to want to rotate it. So you would turn it 180 degrees. That way, if you have hot spots or cool spots in your oven, it's evenly getting cooked. So half your creme brulees won't be more done than the other half.
Oh, good point, because I've noticed that, especially I've actually noticed it more with electric ovens that you're going to get like stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but stovetop ovens, they don't always have like even heat, and you just have to.
In general,
it's trial and error, and a lot of times we'll just think it's us, messing up as a home cook, but a lot of times it's about learning your oven and how the distribution of the heat is.
Yeah, it's just like if you have your favorite saute pans. A lot of pans, and if you get a copper pan, it conducts heat evenly. But you might have your favorite cast iron or Teflon pan that cooks great because you know it so well that the left half of the pan's going to heat up faster than the right half. So you could strategically put your your carrots and your onions on one side, and then after a couple minutes, add the more delicate vegetables on the other side. It's all ovens are different, all pans are different, and again, the more you use them, the better off you are with understanding how they work. Just comes with time.
I like this kind of challenge with the creme brulee because I just think you get to understand the science of everything, and it is a big step, like you're saying, but it's like one of those things about doing mousse. It's like it feels like that, Can you make a good chocolate mousse without it falling? Take it out of the oven, it goes bye. I'm sinking. I am the Titanic. The chocolate Titanic. But with the creme brulee, okay, so you got it in there. Now you got your little floaters in there, and now you're twirling them around. I suggest everybody drinks wine and listen to some really chilled out music to get you through this. But so how do you know when the creme brulee is done and you can start playing with the torch? Because that's really where I want to get to. I want to play with the torch. That's dangerous, but
So there's one analogy I always use for describing how to know when creme brulees are complete. It's not the most politically correct terminology, but I'm just going to say it anyways. When your creme brulees are still in the oven, when your creme brulees are still in the oven, when you think they're about done, you can tap the pan and you'll notice a really nice jiggle. It's like the jiggle on. Yes. It's just that
Booty
really
jiggle.
Nice jiggle when you see that really nice jiggle. That's how you know your creme brulees are done. I don't have a scientific measurement. I don't have a temperature for you. If they're done and you pull them out of the oven, you could let them sit for about 10 minutes. And then if you could pick up the ramekin and tilt it sideways and the custard is stuck to the sides of the ramekin and it's not slipping and sliding, that's the best way to tell if it's done or not.
Okay. Okay, so it's a tight booty jiggle.
There we go.
So
I'm
going to be the one who gets in trouble for this.
Oh,
but
well,
I'm female,
I was thinking a silicone. Yeah, a silicone breast is the analogy I use for a more
so it's like
accurate description.
Okay. Well, it's the same thing
it just holds.
I had one person teach me the best way to choose the perfect mango is it needs to fit in the palm of your hand to be the perfect size of the perfect boobie that you like. And I'm like, dude, I'm not into boobies, but I do go in the grocery store and pick up the mango, go like, is that it? It feels good in the palm. Like, this is like, feels right. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I mean, creme brulee, like I was saying, it seems like it's a sensual thing. So maybe even the cooking part of it is like, the beginning of the pre-part of the dinner. Just saying. Okay, got to work your way up there.
From there, there's many different ways you could torch sugar. I love just straight granulated sugar because I don't know, I'm comfortable with it. I could pick up the ramekin and take a creme brulee torch or any torch, sprinkle a little bit of sugar over the top, and just you torch it, not putting the fire too close to the ramekin so you could control it and the sugar doesn't expel or go all over the place, because the closer you are to that torch head, the more oxygen and force is going to be pushing that sugar around. So it should take you about a minute, 45 seconds to a minute to finish torching a creme brulee ramekin with its sugar on there. You could also do equal parts brown sugar and white sugar, and then you spray a little bit of water on there, and that's going to give you a different texture. A lot of chefs swear by turbinado sugar. It adds a more clean flavor. I'm really just into the straight granulated sugar, and then taking your torch and just torching off the top of the creme brulee.
So where do you get the torch?
You could order them online. You can go to any of your favorite home cook stores, and they should have them. You're basically just looking for a torch that has a small butane canister, fuel attachment with a torch head that's, I don't know, maybe 5 inches, 4 inches long, and about 3 inches long, or 3 inches wide, excuse me. But you do need a torch. You can't just use a lighter and try to light the sugar.
That.
Yeah.
Notice I did not comment on that. I was really good. But okay, so you it's all about, okay, so check out the size of your torch, because you don't want a big flamer, right? So anyway, so when you do this, so if now you're going to invest in a torch, right, for this, do you use the torch for anything else? Right, but I mean, would you? What do you use it for after that? Do we use it on cocktails or what? Or is that illegal?
You could use it on cocktails. One of my other favorite things to do if I have bananas that are going at the sweet spot, start kicking up on bananas, I'll cut the banana long ways, or I'll slice it into little silver dollar pieces, and I'll pour some sugar on that, and I'll torch that, and that's a really good fix. It's like you get that crunchy sugar with the sweetness of the banana. Yeah, there you go. You can
use to eat plantains and rum that way. We said they put rum and that's African style. When we were in Kenya, they used to the flambéed plantains were like the dessert dish of Kenya when we were there.
Wow.
Anyway, it's probably changed by now, but flambéed and plantains for some reason were better than bananas with that. I don't know why, or maybe that's just what was growing there more. I don't know. but it's good. You should try it. It's good.
I will.
They're like, yeah. So okay, so it's worth the investment, and this could be people's signature dish. I like this. And so the one thing though, just going back, when you're putting the sugar on, you talked about spraying some water. So you just get like one of those little squirt bottles and just go like little plink plink, and that's it.
That's if you use equal parts granulated sugar with equal parts brown sugar. If you're just using granulated sugar or grandma's sugar that she puts in her tea in the morning, you don't need any water. You literally just sprinkle, put a tablespoon on top of the creme brulee, on the creme brulee ramekin, evenly shake it so the sugar is coated evenly and distributed evenly amongst the top of the creme brulee itself, and then take your torch and just start heating up that sugar. And when it starts to turn golden brown, move that torch to a different area of the creme brulee. Because what will happen is, even though you've removed your torch, it's still going to be caramelizing, which is what gives your sugar that crunch and that texture when you break through it. Caramelization happens between 180, is it 180? No, I think I hope I don't get this wrong. I think it's 180 degrees to 240 degrees. So once you start seeing your sugar turn colors, you're probably at about 185, 190. And then once you're at about 200, you'll see it turn a light brown. And then that's when you want to start moving the sugar and moving the torch around the top of the creme brulee ramekin itself. So you still have those 40 degrees or 30 degrees to before you get too dark and too black. And that creme brulee translates in English to burnt cream, but we don't want that overly roasted, caramelized sugar that's almost bitter. Maybe if you're doing something with beer, you're doing like a stout, some kind of a heavier creme brulee, you could get away with that. But this recipe is a lot lighter. It's airy, it's somewhat delicate, so you don't want that overpowering flavor to infiltrate your creme brulee.
Well, this is perfect for like a date night then. So I have to ask you, like, if you're going to have a creme brulee with your date, what music is in the background? Because it's got to be romantic. And what do you drink with this? I'm usually by the dessert round. A couple martinis are already in me. Possibly a bottle of wine by that point. So I would probably, truthfully, I would go cognac. I would just go for a really nice 12-year cognac and just sipping on the cognac with that creme brulee, because that caramelized sugar is going to play off the cognac very well. Chambord is a black raspberry flavored liqueur, so that'll kind of balance and contrast with the cognac. So you'll have a lot going on between the custard and the sugar and the cognac. I would do a 12-year. And now, what about the music? You got to have the music. You got to have that little ambiance.
Well, if we're talking Valentine's Day, I'm
rapping.
I'm gonna go with Marvin Gaye, just straight up.
Okay.
Marvin
Gaye. Right on. Everyone, again, if you go to jeremysonthehill.com, you'll get his recipes. He's got a great video section as well, so a lot of how-to tips there. And also go check him out. If you go to San Diego or Southern California, anywhere. I mean, if you're in Palm Springs, L.A., Orange County, even Arizona, you're really close to Jeremy's, and makes a beautiful day trip, weekend trip, spend a week. Because most people come up the hill, like we always say that about Julian. People come up the hill just to come eat at the restaurant, which is cool. Like your own destination, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's a lot to do around there too. So thank you so much for sharing us all these tips on how to do creme brulee, and because I think people get a little nervous about doing something like this, but it helps. I think just keep going, right? Just keep going with it.
It does, yes. Yeah.
Right on. Thanks so much, Jeremy. You take care.
Thank you, Lisa.
You take care. Everyone, again, the recipe will be up on blendradioandtv.com, also in the January-February issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine.